guys, so today is going to hopefully be a quick one. I'm going to answer a question I got about aspect ratios and upscaling. Specifically, how I export to a widescreen format without having those black bars showing up on top and bottom of the screen. And I think we're going to take it a step further, and while we're exporting, we'll take a 1080p timeline, and I'll show you how I upscale it to 4K as well. So let's dive into Premiere. Now, you'll see we already have some generic clips here in our timeline. Yes, I play violin, and no, I'm obviously not playing the background track. It's actually from Epidemic Sound, but I thought it looked kind of cool together. So these are 1080p clips in a 24 frames per second timeline. Pretty standard. So let's say we have a client that has asked for an aspect ratio of 2.35 to 1. Old school CinemaScope. And hopefully this was decided way before we started shooting so that proper framing was obtained to support whatever choice or choices we've been asked to deliver. In this case, we'll say it has. So the first thing we need to find out is what is the pixel size of 2.35 to 1 as it pertains to our native resolution of 1920 by 1080. Now, you could take some time and do some basic math, which sounds terrible, I'm not gonna lie, or you could check out this super helpful cheat sheet I found online from Unravel Mastering Services, and it's going to give us all of the information that we need. So if we head down to 1080p, there it is, because that's our working resolution, and we look for the aspect ratio we've been tasked with exporting in, which is 2.35 to 1, we see that the pixel size should be 1920 by 817. Perfect. So now we're going to create guidelines from this information to make sure each clip is framed the way we want. So let's head back to Premiere. Now we want to make sure that the program window is selected. We can then go up to View, and we want to make sure that Show Guides is checked. And then we're going to click on Add Guide. Okay, so now we know the pixel height of our new resolution is 817 pixels. So if we subtract that from our current height of 1080, so 1080 minus 817 equals 263 pixels. So now we have to divide this by 2 because we want one bar on top and one bar on the bottom. So we're gonna go divided by 2. So that's going to give us 131.5 pixels wide. So let's go back to the dialog box. And we want a horizontal guide from the top. And then we're going to enter 131.5. Boom. We now have a guide. So Premiere is actually going to round this up to 132, but no worries, it's not a big deal. So now we have to do this again. So let's go back up to View, click on Add Guide, and this time we're going to do the bottom. Do the same thing, 131.5. There we have it, 2 guides. Now the reason we want these guides is because whatever part of the clip falls on top or below the guides is actually going to be cut off when we render this out, thus giving us the widescreen ratio we're looking for. So we want to take a couple of seconds to adjust our clips to fit within those guides. Looks good. Oh, I miss summer. Go right about there. And then I should really play violin more often. I honestly haven't played in a long time. Actually, since this video. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Now, next we need to select the timeline panel. And then we're gonna hit Control M to bring up the render settings. Now inside this panel, we're going to go up here to preset and scroll down to select high quality 2160p 4K. So now this is important in order to be able to select the bitrate we want later on. Okay, so now let's head over here and click on the source button. Since we know we want a crop of 132 pixels, based on the math we did earlier, we can input those values here in the top and bottom boxes. So let's do that, 132, 132. All right, so now hit Output and head back over to the export settings. Now we're gonna go down to video settings. And this is where we're going to input our upscaled pixel size. And if we head back to our handy chart, we are going to go to 4K UHD, 2.35. You'll see our pixel height size should be 1634. Let's go back to Premiere, enter that 1634. Boom. Beautiful. Okay, so now we want to make sure that render at maximum depth is checked. And then we go down a little bit further. And I always use constant bitrate or CBR and at a max or at 100 megabits per second. YouTube recommends for our frame rate, which is 24 frames per second at 4K resolution, to use a bitrate of 44 to 56. But I found that when I use one that low, especially with fast moving footage, things tend to start looking a little weird. I've always done around 75 to 100, and I really like the results, especially when viewed offline without YouTube's compression. Now, doing this is going to make your file sizes considerably larger, but I'm not too concerned with the storage. Okay, so now we're going to go down here and click on maximum render quality, and then we're going to hit export. But I've already done this, so let's go check it out. Widescreen, upscale to 4K with no bars? Beautiful. Well, I hope that helps. I'll link the aspect ratio chart down in the description. I seriously use it all the time, and maybe you guys can get some use out of it too. Thanks again for watching. Until next time, I'm Kris. See ya.